All right, welcome back to Chaos Conversation. Let's go.
We here. Chaos Conversation in the building
There you
on
go.
62.9 The Voice. You know it.
Yeah.
Hey, it's that season, and it's also that time, man. Too much going on in this community, too much going on in this world, too
Oh
much going
my
on in the
gosh,
States.
man.
Like,
Crazy
man,
stuff.
I don't care if it's relationships in the making, politics going on, or the damn police still acting a damn fool, or some folks out here acting a damn fool.
The police
And
are
the
ending. The
relationships,
police are causing havoc in people's relationships.
there you go. Y'all hear that? The
We can do a
popo.
show just on that, on the relationship aspect of violence, and then we could narrow it down to police violence and the long lasting effect it has on people's relationships.
And one thing before we get into any of our topics, one thing for both men and women out here. Sometimes if you guys see police acting a daggone fool, let me show you. This is just what I would do. I would mess around and get up here on your cell phone and call 911 on law enforcement. And
There's
if you got
also an
enough
app out there. Have you heard about this app? It's
what's
called
that?
Bear Witness, BEAR Witness, and it allows you
Nah,
to record the police, and it stores all the video on a server on their side as well as your phone. So if something happens and the police break your phone, steal your phone, it stores that video on a server with that app, and so you can always retrieve the data in that video off that app if in case
you
they
hear
destroy
that?
your phone or do something like that.
For all y'all in relationships, if you're like me and you're ready for one, but they ain't came your way yet, Sam, tell them what they can get. Tell them the name of that app again, because a lot of them need that.
Which one? You talking about the hookup app? Oh, you talking about the Bear Witness. Sorry, I got a little
Yeah.
confused there. Nah, I was
All
joking.
right, now, Franklin.
Bear Witness, BEAR Witness. And
Y'all
there's a
hear
few
that?
others out there. Bruce and I had talked about creating one. There's still a lot of ideas out there, but that's a good one that I've seen people use. So yeah, use that. Protect your loved ones, protect your relationships, those you care about, those you love.
Because there's even some people out there like Ashanti and her new man that might need a little something like that because of the spotlight of dislike, love, at the same time hatred they getting for doing their thing, man.
What's going on with this new? I heard all this commotion from some
I mean,
ladies, and,
mm-hmm.
and some dudes, but really it was more ladies and all this. They up and roar because Ashanti was on vacation in
On vacation.
Cancun in Mexico, and I think she was I think somebody was getting married. I'm actually
Mm-hmm.
going to a wedding as well in June, but she took a photo. She posted a photo on social media,
I
and it
saw
was
all
of
over.
her. People thought it was like somebody at the hotel random or whatever, but then it came out. She said this is the guy she's dating, and it's of a gentleman of a lighter hue, and people went all crazy. The question is why.
Question, man. Look, first of all, man, too many of y'all out here are giving too much attention to others' relationships and celebrity relationships, and a lot of people are not even. You might be where you want to be in your relationship, but it's like,
Uh
all right,
oh.
all that energy you putting out. How about if you in a relationship, you go ahead and put that energy in yours and better
Excuse
yours?
me.
But I'm like, help me understand how the hell, why the hell do y'all even care so much of who celebrities date? I
Well,
mean, I know they're a
people
big
people
influence to you.
people love to be entertained, right? We're not the only country,
Mm.
that does things like that. I mean, I've traveled to one, two, three, four, five, six different countries, seven different countries, and people love entertainment, right? The U.S. has a big music scene that echoes around the world, as
Mm-hmm.
well as Hollywood. So it's slightly different where we have these two huge things that people from all over the world kind of, take part in. And
Yep.
a lot of countries have their own, you know, celebrities and things like that. But the U.S. has this extra thing with Hollywood and music that is known globally. So people tend to follow celebrities and want to know what they're doing. And I really don't give a shit. But
Mm-hmm.
um, people love to like you just said, they want to see what's going on in other people's lives, but they can't seem to figure out what's going on in their own life, what's going on
Yeah.
behind their own closed doors.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not that they can't figure it out. It's the fact is you want to, because your life may be jacked up, you want to go ahead and find something else wrong with other people's relationships to be jacked up. And it's like, I mean, Serena Williams got the same feed almost, man. When she was dating her now husband. She was
that
getting
she's got
almost the
a,
same
she has
fee,
that
same
that
attention.
she has a child with. So I guess the
Yeah.
real question is, why do people? We see this with guys. We see it when it's black male celebrities. We see it when
Mm-hmm.
it's or just, I don't want to say celebrities, just people that are known, well known. You seeing it with Ashanti. Now I feel like black women don't get the pushback as much as,
Mm-hmm.
let's say, black males. But
I mean,
I mean I have my own thoughts of why I think this why this is such a big deal or
I'm guessing
affect
because
so many people
no one ever
personally.
heard of the dude before. That's why. I'm guessing because no one's ever heard of the dude, and it's like, all right, there's no reason we don't know him. I mean, he ain't no Chris. Hopefully, he ain't no Chris Brown, nothing like that. But it's
I
like,
guess the reason is why. Why do other people have to know who the person is?
good question. Good question. It's like when you got somebody like back in the day when when the great Tyrese was dating what's his name, Sanaa Lathan. Anybody had no problems, no issues because they're both well known. They're both in the entertainment field, and people know who they are in the same race. Okay, but it was like the minute someone like MJ decided to date and get married outside his race, there was a little fuss, a little cry about it. But it's like, okay, he a man, he can take it. He got his fortune already, and he ain't got nothing to worry about. But it's like, all right, the ladies, for some reason, the sisters, they get more criticized, more condemned, more down talked than anyone else I could think of if they tiptoe outside their race to even date. And
Now these days, I would say you
it's
see
diversity
more,
now.
especially in the United States
Mm-hmm.
and other major countries like I would say like Canada, England,
Yep.
France. Maybe not as much as Australia, not as much many of us in Australia. But you look at those four countries and you say, okay, we see a lot of interracial dating, and I think
Yeah.
especially when you leave the U.S., it's not in certain parts of Europe, yeah, true. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but when you go to places like Canada or even go to Mexico, I mean, people, you're treated so differently.
Oh yeah.
You're treated so differently than you are even in the United States, and it's because the history in this country. So right, so I think people get so bent out of shape because of the history around different groups of people in this country, and the reality is a lot of black. If you look at the numbers and you say, okay, when I was in college, it was about 25 at the school I went to, Eagle Pride. There was about 25 females for every male. So that means the women have the guys outnumbered. So if
Yep.
every guy chose a female, and this is for in most colleges in general, unless you're at an all girls or all female school, there's usually more females in college than guys. So if every guy chooses a female, there'll still be a lot of females left over that have, if they're straight, that don't have an option. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
At that specific school. So women typically have us outnumbered. And so when you start breaking that down and you say, okay, well, if you take away all the guys that are gay, so they're not dating women, then you take away guys that are married because they're off the market, and then you take away guys that are
Incarcerated.
incarcerated. You take them off the list. Then you start that number drastically shrinks. So then you say, okay, well now this is the group that's left, and then you got women that'll say, well, I'm college educated. I want a guy that's college educated. Um, that number goes even further down. And so then when you start whittling that number down, and then it depends on where you live, right? They're like, oh, I want to meet a man that lives in the city I live in, or at least the county I live in, within an hour's
Take note.
distance. That
Take
narrows
note.
it down even further, men and ladies. And so you got and I'm gonna defend the ladies right here. Now you got the ladies saying, okay, I started with 100. Let's just make it even number, right? I started with 100. Now my number of men, and of course this is multiplied by 10. I mean, 100,000, whatever. 10. I mean 10,000. But let's just make it 100. Let's say if there was 100 men, now that number's down probably 70%. Maybe even some cities it's down to 80%. So now we went from 100 to possibly 10 to 15 guys, maybe 20 guys. And then you say, okay, well, maybe you dated two or three of those, so now maybe you never even meet those other 17 in life. You just never meet. Maybe you never cross paths, and that happens. So now you get the sense of why women or black women will say, okay, oh, we didn't even name the men that are with, they're married anyway. We didn't even say dating. We just said married or whatever. So you can't take those out as well. Um, but now you say, okay, now that you're starting to understand, okay, of the guys that are left, of those 20 guys that are left, how many of them are dating or want to be with sisters or black women? Because in the time we live in now today, people, there's no laws against interracial dating and marriage and stuff like that. So people date whoever. So what if they're with an Asian woman? What if they're with a Spanish person? What if they're with a white person? So
A
then
Kanye
you have,
West young lady.
right. So then
Kanye
you
West.
that list, that those numbers shrink even more. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think people should get mad about the race perspective. I just think black women shouldn't limit themselves to only dating black men. You know, go out here, date whoever you want to date. Find out whoever you find love. That love doesn't have a color on it, and you be interested, as Bruce will tell you. You'd be surprised who you will meet when you let your guard down and you stop trying to have these limited. When you start limiting yourself and you start opening yourself up to things that maybe you didn't know you would like, but once you put it out there, you never know who you might meet and who you might fall in love with. What you think,
I
Bruce?
had to, Sam, I told you and many others, man, from day one, you have to open your heart and close your eyes sometimes when it comes to when you're ready. Because I'm gonna go from this topic and I'm gonna piggyback off this into our next topic. But when I say people out there who are limited because of they know what they want on the inside of somebody and they realize, hey, love has no color. Some people have to mature into that. Some people have to let the past go, which is very difficult for men to do,
Oh yeah.
especially when if a lot of women who are in the who are 40 plus
Okay.
these days, a lot of women who are 40 plus, they haven't forgotten the days they were picked on or the days they were picked at. They haven't forgotten the times that racism still went on in some areas that they lived in. And
Right.
so that's what not many women have. Some men have gotten over it, a lot of men haven't. But a lot of women who have gotten over it and moved on, but those other women who have decided to just hold on to it, I'm going to stay with blacks because of what we all went through. And they're in fear that if they date outside and fall in love outside their race, that other race won't be able to relate to them the way they still remember back in the days. And
Right.
so, I mean, to each his own. But to me, again, love has no color. It has no race to it at all. It to me is a life is about being happy. And I mean, if Ashanti trying to do her thing, my thing is why y'all worried about it? It ain't for no more food on your table,
Right.
no more money in your bank account, no more entertainment in front of your butt. And I think this is one reason why a lot of folks be saying don't mix business with pleasure, because that's what a lot of y'all followers or people are doing all upon her assets, wondering who's gonna make her happy. Is
Right.
you mixing business with pleasure. It's like, hey, if she's still your favorite singer, if she's still your favorite entertainer, I don't know what kind of work she does anymore besides singing. But if she provides the best what's the
She's not
perfume that
doing
you
that
still
too
like,
often.
I mean, I don't know what she'd be doing nowadays, but if she's still your favorite, if you're still gonna be a follower of hers, that don't mean follow to criticize, condemn, and cry about. It means follow to be happy for her, man. It's
Right.
like not every man of the same race can make a woman of that same race happy and satisfied in the same sentence. If you ask me, I mean, there's been plenty of times I ask people all the time. I like, what do you want? What matters to you? And the main thing I hear is peace, joy, and happiness. I'm like, all right, I don't hear race. Same stats. All I hear is peace, joy, happiness. And I ask myself and I ask them, can any I tell them, can any other race or you know, any other, person fulfill your heart that has those things in them? And they'll be like, well, the main thing they'll stop me and say is, well, as long as he or she is straight, if they're straight, it doesn't matter to me. But I ask them, if peace, joy, happiness if a woman can bring you happiness, peace, joy, is like outside your race, what the hell? What the
Yeah, I
hell?
think we're
Because I
starting to
mean,
see. I think we're starting to see more of that.
yeah,
Since
man.
let's say 95, 2000. For the last, I would say, at least 20 years since 2000, you've
Mm,
seen an explosion. And yeah, like you said, maybe some of that is due to celebrities and society changing. I think those numbers went up. I'd like to see statistically. I'm a big numbers guy. I'd like to see
Oh
statistically
yeah.
the increase in interracial marriages or dating um, since before President Obama was the president, and then after,
After.
like, or since he became president in
Mm-hmm.
2008. Did the numbers go up after that? You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And so then you got people out there who are like, all right, well, I mean, Ashanti got, she got some money like that, but then a lot of times, what I've been, one thing, yeah, well, a little bit. My thing is, she made a few million. So my thing is, a lot of times with people who got money like that, when a woman, when a black woman dates or gets married outside of her race, the main thing the public looks at is how much money he got. That's the main thing you always will hear. That's the main thing you always now with most black men, you don't hear that. Like even with Kanye West date outside, with what's her name? Come on, what's her name?
Well, that's because
Kanye's
you see men. I don't even think it's a
Kim
race thing.
Kardashian.
But I
Yeah,
don't. I
like
don't
it's
even
like
think it's a race thing. I think men
oh
date.
yeah,
Men date based on how it makes them feel or looks, or some date for arm candy, stuff like that. Whereas
yeah.
women, you see a lot of women, like you looked at who Rihanna was dating, or Ashanti, or this person, or that person, or Serena, or that person, or this
Serena
person.
Williams, even Tyra Banks had a
Tyra
child
Banks.
with a guy
A
outside
lot of these
Eve.
guys, a lot of these guys
Yeah,
were multimillionaires, some of them billionaires.
yeah,
But
yeah.
guys, I know a lot of well-known guys,
Tiger Woods.
yeah, and others. I mean, I've seen them date waitresses,
Cuba
strippers,
Gooding Jr.
random chicks that they met at the mall. I mean,
Yep.
just the most random things. But why is that? Why is that guys will give somebody, a woman, a chance that is not
Who
on
ain't
their
got nothing.
level financially, but
Yeah.
women, on the other hand, tend to date either up, at least at the same level they are, or up or upward.
Mm-hmm. Or
Whereas
higher.
a lot of these guys, a lot of guys, especially when it comes to celebrity guys or
Mm-hmm.
well-known people, I won't call them celebrities, well-known, or even athletes, they'll
Yeah.
give women that don't have a dime to their name a chance.
I'll tell you one reason why is a lot of them are, alpha males, and they want to stick to the tradition of being the provider. And a lot of them just stick to that because they got the money. And if you won't sign a prenup, then hey, we ain't getting married. Or even if you do, I'm the man of the household. You living off me. I ain't gonna live off you because they're proud or ego. In this traditional times that the man is the provider, the man is the wealth, the wealth between the two. And a lot of women, I mean, I've known very few women. I mean, I could probably name only two at the most who have dated and are still possibly married to one who's below them, but she's not married. They just been committed forever. That's Oprah Winfrey. You know what I mean? Who is, I think, it's Sedman, who's, he's never been at her status level financially, celebrity, or not, or, as far as, lifestyle or none of that. But she's been with him since day one. But he's not, really outside her race though. But he is less financially set than she will. Yeah, actually less financially set. Billionaire versus, I'm not sure how much he makes, at least six figures, I'm guessing. But she's one of the examples of your man don't have to have more, even though she's not married to him. But at the same time, yeah, I still don't feel women should be completely criticized. But the part that kills me is when, because this is what I found out with a lot of black women who say it's not about the money. I'll say, you know what? It may not be about the money. It's probably because of the money that they are with that dude. And I'm like, okay, if it's not about the money, if it's not because of the money, then why would it why would it be this guy versus anyone else if it's not about the money
Well,
or it's not because
it's
of the
kind of a
money?
hard situation, right? Like, it might not be, they might not be with they might not be with them because of money, but they probably met them because of money, right? They probably met them in a
Yeah.
situation where they were around a lot of people and there's nothing wrong with that, right? They're around people that are in their class,
And
right?
yeah.
People that are millionaires and above. I mean, that's just the reality of it, right? You hang around people that are on your level sometimes, and people that are in that tax bracket tend to hang around other people that are in that tax bracket. And so
Yeah.
maybe she was at a party and met that guy, um, and nothing wrong with that or whatever. And I guess that's the
Yeah.
thing that people have to see. Like when you working at a fast food joint, maybe a lot of people you hanging around are fast food joint employees. If you're a bartender, maybe you hang around a lot of people that are bartenders. If you are a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, then maybe you're probably hanging around people that are, people that are executives like CFOs, CEOs, COOs, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a lot of times when you are a what you call it, musicians, hang around musicians, actors. I mean, so I won't say that she was dating him but she's dating him just because we don't know. But a lot
Yeah.
of people will assume that she's with him for the money. You know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you this before we get off this topic and go to the next, man. Is the best thing some of these people who have a lot of followers and a lot of money, best thing I suggest they do is start recording a little more after you see this person, maybe the second, third time, and just give your followers an idea of so they can see why. Because this woman, well, ladies, since we're talking about y'all, the sisters of the black sisters, if you guys see a man and you realize after the second, third time, you might consider him, why don't you go ahead and post for your fans a video, small talk that you guys have. I don't care if you guys talking about the basketball game, politics, life in general, and let them see for themselves why you stepped outside your race. That will just calm a lot of their asses down in one form or fashion or another. And then you can tell them some of your past of what you had going on when you dated men of your own race and what didn't happen, what didn't work out. And you can just tell them, you see how this new man of another race talks about this and my old talked about that, or whatever the case is. That'd be just a small suggestion. But what do you think, Sam?
Yeah, I mean,
You got people crying over that mess.
It's crazy, man. I mean, people have to make their own decision, their own choices or whatever, but
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, that's what happens. I think
Yeah.
we got some late breaking news right here, man.
What's that, man?
Your favorite guy,
Who?
Bill Gates and Melinda Gates, are getting divorced.
What?
Yeah, news literally is just coming down right now as we are
That's
speaking right
crazy.
now.
That is crazy.
I'm trying to dig into the details to see, what the reason is. I'm not seeing too much yet. Uh,
Yeah,
but
that's crazy.
that's kind of wild right there.
Yeah, we got to touch on that tomorrow, man. Can we get all the details about that right now? But yes, you know what? That right there leads me into my next topic of how a lot of women, why do so many women want their next man or next husband to pick up where their dad left off when they go into the next relationship? I mean,
Now, what do you mean
that,
where their dad left off?
for example, like a lot of women whose daddy spoiled them when they were young, or who are daddy's girls, they're like, well, my dad never let me go hungry. My dad always got me what I wanted. My dad was always there for me. My dad was always, okay, yeah. Your dad, did all this for you. But okay, is this new man? Does this new man have to have everything your dad had? All the money he had, all the jobs he had, all the responsibilities he had. I mean, okay, he's not even your dad for one thing. But ladies, why do so many of you all want your man, future husband, to be your dad when that's not who or what he is? And if a man does decide to step up and do the things for you your dad used to do, why don't you give that man the same um, respect you gave your dad? That when he tells you to do something, you do it. You don't just mouth back, huh? Help me understand, ladies. Why don't you try that? Because I don't hear that as much or see that as much when I see all your crying on social media or the emails I get from you, all the texts or the calls I get. I don't hear that. I don't hear that you gave your man the same respect you gave your dad, because he ain't your dad. Okay. But why do you still want his money? Why do you still want him to buy you everything you asked for? Why do you want him to get you a new car? Why do you want all this
Now,
if you can't give him
what
the
if a
same
woman
respect?
is doing all that on her own? What if she's not claiming to? What if she's not claiming to want any of those things?
Well, I mean, there are some women out there who got it like that. I ain't complaining about them. I'm talking about the
There's
ladies
a lot of
who,
women like that out there, like that.
yeah, but the women,
Women
the
are
women,
making more. It's already been statistics show that women make more than men. in terms
Yeah, but
of
you know what?
on average. We're not
That's
talking
not
about
what we're talking about
Bezos
though.
and Bill Gates and all those guys. We're talking on average.
That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about why women want their men, future husbands, to pick up where their dad leaves off.
Well, that's
But
that's a different story. That comes up to
yeah.
that comes to down to, there's a complex there, and a
Go
lot of
ahead.
that comes from maybe the dad was not around, and if the dad is around,
Yeah,
then maybe
dad.
maybe the situation wasn't so good or so nice, um, and then you have the positive side, right, where you say,
Yeah.
okay, this young lady was raised by a great father, and he taught her what a man should be, what a man
Mm-hmm.
is, and what
Mm-hmm.
her man, what she should want in a man, looks like. And so when she goes out into the world and, you know, is on her own and doing her own thing and dating and doing all this other stuff or whatever, then maybe she is remembering how her father treated her mother, how her father treated her, how her father treated his mother, and she wants a guy that resembles that or mimics that kindness or that behavior and mannerisms and things like that that her father displayed towards her, versus a lot of the craziness out here today. And so I don't see anything wrong with that. When it comes to the negative side, like if they had a negative interaction or
uh,
there was a negative environment, yeah, sometimes people carry that with them and want that, maybe deep down they want that because it's what's been ingrained for them, in them for so long. But I feel like the positives in these cases outweigh the negatives, where more people should want those positives, especially as the decriminalization of certain plants and things are had taken place, and more people are coming home from prison and things like that. You're starting to see more fathers in the picture, across all races, um, and so people are having more of an opportunity to step up and do that thing. Well, maybe they didn't, in the past. So I think people just have to, you know, if like you say a lot of people love entertainment and celebrities and things like that. Well, hell, you need to find you a good role model on one of these shows you watch, or one of these movies, and mimic that as your father if you don't have a father figure around.
because this is one thing I'm gonna touch on with for the ladies in this topic. Why is it your dad used to tell you make sure you have your butt home by 10 o'clock, but if your man, future husband, tell you make sure you're home by 10 o'clock, why you got all this mouth? It's like what happened to the respect that you gave your dad? Where's that respect for your man who's trying to show you love and he cares enough? You know what I mean?
Oh
Where's all
man, you
what
open
happens to
you
that?
you opening the door right there.
Okay, and then
That's
also
because
another
that's
thing
because
is
that's because that dude is not her god. That's why she don't have
mm,
to treat him the exact same way you treat a father versus somebody you dating
no. My
versus
thing is the respect level
husband,
though.
this and that. Yeah, I
My
mean,
thing is the respect level.
respect is respect. I mean, but there's different levels of respect, right? Like you have one
Yeah.
level of respect for a school teacher growing up. You have a respect for a bus driver.
Your,
You have respect for
your
maybe
parents. Yeah.
your parents, but then your grandparents, the level of respect may be higher. Let's say it may be higher for police or firefighters or something like that
Yes,
versus
ma'am. Yes, sir. Uh-huh.
somebody working at the grocery store. You know what I'm saying? So it's different
Yeah.
levels. It's
So,
different levels to this game, Bruce. Come on,
well,
come
my
on.
thing, I mean, come on my ass, man. My thing for ladies is if you want your man, and my thing is this, it's almost like I tell folks, it's almost like if you want somebody to be there for you for the good and the bad, it's almost like taking any religion that you want to live by, and you can't just take out of it what you want. You got to take the whole book. You got to take the whole package. So if you want your man to go ahead and have all the pros that your dad had, don't be surprised if he comes with some of the cons that your dad had. Like your dad may have been disciplined. The only thing I'll agree with that a father can do that a man can't is put a belt to her assets or swing on her because he's mad. That's the only thing I'm not saying a dad has the right to do that unless he's disciplining you as a child. You know what I mean? But not swing at you because he's mad at you, or maybe it's getting a spanking back in the day was indirect love. You know what I mean? You got pregnant too fast when you were 12, 13, 14, 15 years old. That's different when you got a man, because that man got no reason swinging on you like that, unless it's self-defense, that is. But at the same time, that's why I said self-defense. But it's like at the same time, if you want your man to have all that pro that your dad had, then you got to have the same level of respect for that pro. It's like, okay, honey, let me get your car. Dad, let me get some money to go shop. Okay, man can do that. But there's times that your man may not have it financially as set as your dad once did, because times are different. You know what I mean? So there's times where it's like your dad, if your dad has shown you how to treat a man and how to be treated by a man, okay, then that's something you can expect from your current man, future husband. But don't be sitting here expecting your man, future husband, to live up to everything. I repeat, everything your dad applied to you that you liked, because normally that ain't gonna happen. And that's not your dad, no, but that don't mean the whole respect level should stop just because he can't fulfill everything your dad did. All right, ladies, so that hopefully that answers your questions and emails and social media comments and statements about why your man can't pick up where your dad left off. It's that simple. He's not your dad. All right.
We're moving on to the last topic of today. Me and Bruce will agree to disagree on some of that.
Oh, Lord.
Topics. But this next topic, men, women want to know. They really want to know what is going on. Why? Now, this is from a female perspective. Mm-hmm. They're asking why, and we're going to give you part of the answer today, ladies. So ladies, hold on for a second. Tune in.
All right, Nicole.
Drop what you're doing. Whatever you're doing right now, stop. Listen. Here's the question. Women want to know. Why are men, even after years of committed relationships, still not wanting to get married?
Nicole?
You give us one reason, Bruce, and then I'll give a reason, and we'll go back and forth. What you think?
I'm going to give you reasons why some men, and I'm not really one of them.
Yeah, some.
Yeah, I'm not one who's in a rush. I'm going to say it like that. I'm not one who's in a rush. And a lot of men don't want to get married. Here's one reason why.
Some.
Yeah, some men do not want to get married because they have, and women have the same thing too, but this is about the men, so we can stick to the men. They have a preference, they have a heart desire. And what's happening is their woman is fulfilling maybe 2 or 3 of his preferences and not enough of his heart desires. And it's like, okay, it's a lot now. It's like the woman may cook, she may support, she may love him, but it's like, all right, there's still some things his heart desires that she ain't fulfilling. And he wanted to know, if I wait, is it gonna happen eventually? Or sometimes that's just one reason. Another reason is ain't no pressure on him because he ain't got no biological.
No, you get one.
Okay. Well, that was my one. Was
so you said because he's got preferences that are not being,
and his heart desires are not being fulfilled enough.
Okay, valid. Maybe valid. Depends on the relationship. I think a lot of men, or some men, are choosing to avoid marriage because, let's keep it real, it's risky and it costs a lot. Unless you sign in prenups, if you it costs a lot, man. And then you start adding kids into the equation. You know, men don't get a fair shake in court. You know, it doesn't matter if you're a single father and the woman comes back after 15 years or something, you know, had like the reverse of what guys do sometimes. The men still have a hard time. You know, men don't get paid alimony. It's very rare. You know, women get the benefit of the doubt because they're the one that birthed. They physically have the children. And society, you know, for thousands and thousands of years have looked at women as the caretakers of children. So men don't get that benefit of the doubt. And it costs a lot of money to most men when a divorce happens or, you know, the disagreement or whatever. And then when you add kids into the mix, it becomes a hellish situation if everything is not going perfectly. So my one reason I say is because it costs, the total cost, even not just financial, is it can be too much. Go, Bruce. What you got? What's the next one?
Too much for the man. Okay, here's my second reason why, because I've even been shaky of not wanting to get married. I mean, it's like it goes off and on for me. Do I want to get married? Yeah, I'm not going to rush. But one reason I haven't been in no rush to get married is because a lot of women who are coming back to me wanting to marry me are women I wanted to marry, 6 to 8 years ago, but they're bringing me they're bringing them, they're coming to me with the leftovers of who they are after other men done, did some damage to them or gave them some baggage that I ain't down with. It could have been my baggage. Let me take that back. Let me not call kids baggage. My fault. They'll bring me back other men's children that could have been mine, but it's like, okay, now I want to marry you because you learned your lesson. And it's not so much, it's like, all right, well, I make a woman fight for it. And the time I make her fight for it, she don't fight back hard enough that she wants to marry me. So I'm like, well, that's another reason some men don't like to get married, because it's not always like that. But in my case, it has been. There's been at least 4 women in the past 12 years, and I'm 38 now. So the past 12 years, how was it? About 26, 25, somewhere around there. Past, 12 years, that 4 women who came back to me, and 3 of them had kids that wanted to marry me. The 4th one wanted to marry me for the wrong reason. She wanted to marry me because all her friends around her were getting married, and I'm like, that ain't a good reason to get married. So that's just my second opinion on why some men don't want to get married. What else you got, Sam?
Next one for me. This is a big one. Ladies, listen. You see that? You see this face? You see this face? You see this smile? Look, listen, and pay attention.
Yeah.
One of the top reasons men are not getting married as frequently now today in 2021, almost summertime, it's springtime. We're gonna do a spring sundress episode next time. Hello, Lord. Men, pay attention. The rewards. I'm not speaking for myself, just FYI to my wife. I'm not speaking for myself. I'm just saying for a lot of men out here
who are single still.
The rewards for getting married. Listen now, the rewards for getting married are far less than what they used to be. And guess what? The cost and dangers are far higher. And I say that because take a look at it. As of last year, I'm a numbers person. As of last year, the divorce rate was almost at 50%. That means almost half of all marriages in the U.S. fail or end in divorce. Almost half. That's at record highs. And they said, here's the guess, Bruce, 80% of one gender, 80%. Yeah, you heard that. 80% of one gender initiates divorces. Who is it, Bruce?
Ladies, baby.
Women initiate 80% of the divorces. So ladies, put the numbers together. The divorce rate is 50%. 50% of your friends that get married the relationship will end in divorce. Of those, 80% will be initiated by women. So rarely do men initiate the divorce. Now, some of that's because men are stubborn as hell, like Bruce. Some of them are old school as hell, like Bruce, and claim that they'll never get a divorce. And the women are the ones that have to initiate it for whatever reason. And I guess I see that looking at our society today and looking at how men treat women and society treats women. I can see how 80% of the divorce rates are initiated by women. But the big takeaway there is that, what did I say? It's the rewards of marriage are not what they used to be.
Yeah. You look at what's his name?
Kanye. Some people.
Yeah, and you look at Kanye West and Kim Kardashian. I just read a few articles that they're getting divorced. I look at Tyrese Gibson and his lovely wife. I hear they're getting divorced. And we just mentioned how Bill Gates is getting divorced. Yeah, Bill Gates, if it's true, he's getting divorced. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things to look at. While I'm single, there's a lot of things like that you got to look at, is who's initiated and who's getting out of line. Have they lost what brought them together? Or, has it ran out? There's just a lot of factors you got to look at whenever if you're going to get married. And while some men may not want to get married, Nicole, because if you think about it, the man don't get the benefit. A man never gets the benefit of the doubt in life unless he loses his life, especially the black man. He won't get the benefit of the doubt in life ever. That's just, I don't know why society's like that. So when a man goes into marriage, don't think we ain't thinking about that. We see it like men like me, I'm taking note. I'm taking note about everything a man goes through. I'm sitting here watching my friends like Franklin and Tadarin and, many others go through, and Lionel, and I'm watching what they go through, and being the head of the household. Some of them are alpha males, Franklin, and many more. And it's like, okay, I'm seeing it, but see, I'll see the great husbands they are, the good dads they've been, how they are, how they balance their life. So I mean, I'm sitting here learning, and at the same time, a lot of men do not want to get married because they feel they don't show you this because they want to be all these hardcore, like they know it all. But a lot of men, we don't want to get married and committed because the responsibility that some women want us to live up to is not the world we live in anymore. Let me say that again for y'all. A lot of the responsibility that women want their men to live up to is not the world some men live in anymore. For example.
Oh yeah, give an example.
For example, you guys talk about men being head of household, men being the breadwinner, men being the provider, men doing all this stuff the old school used to do. Well, let me tell you something about the old school. I don't go back that far, but I did talk to my grandparents before they passed. I talked to a lot of old school back in the day who were back then. Even when I talked to them in the 90s, they were at least 92.
We can even talk to them now. Anybody 75, 80 plus.
And so here's what it was. When men had to be the head of the household, they had to be the breadwinners and all that stuff, some men are like, you want us to live up to those old expectations, but we still getting all this mouth back from you. We don't have 13, 14 kids to help us go pick tobacco fields.
Bruce want a submissive. Bruce want a submissive. What's that show on Hulu? What's that show? Handmaid's Tale.
She ain't got to be submissive. She ain't got to be submissive. She has to be supportive. You know what I mean? So back in the days, you had kids that helped their fathers pick cotton, pick tobacco, and do work out in the field. You ain't got that.
That's if you lived on a farm, man. A lot of people live in cities.
Okay. Even take that. You had, gas back then was on like $1.50. You know what I mean? Nowadays, it ain't nowhere near that. You had a lot back then. If you had a degree, you were almost guaranteed. A man was about guaranteed $60,000 if he had a master's, or if he had a master's, he was guaranteed 60. If he had a bachelor's, he was guaranteed 70. It's different now. You don't have that these days. And see, back in them days, when a lot of women who want their man to commit and marry her, it's like, all right, the woman these days can make six figures by herself if she finds the right job too. Back in them days, a woman couldn't even work, but you're still, a lot of men don't want to get married because their women are living in the old school,
a different
old generation. But yeah, you got a lot of women who are saying, well, why won't this man marry me? It's like, all right, well, some of that stuff you do back in the old school, you can't bring it into the new generation, this new millennium. You have to let that baggage behind. And this is a new millennium where both of you all may be required to work. It may take both of you all versus whatever the man say, you obey back in the day. And it's not like that these days.
Also, I think that's why a lot expectations, man. Expectations. Yeah. I talk to people about this with marriage all the time. Expectations and honesty, right? Bruce will tell you, my wife and I, people look at us sometimes and be like, man, they get into these heated conversations, or not even heated, but like interesting conversations that they don't hear other people discussing. And that's because we keep it real, dude. We have real conversations and we laugh and joke, and it gets intense sometimes. But at the end of the day, once we're done with the conversation, we're back to laughing and joking and having a great time. But like other people look at it and they're like, oh my God, like how are they talking about this topic in front of all these other people? Because we keep it real, man. Like we got a real relationship. I can talk about any topic with anybody. It doesn't matter to me. The problem is people are fake. That is the problem. People don't keep it real. People are fake as hell, and they fake it until they make it. And Bruce and I always talk about those red flags.
Flags on the plate,
pick up on those red flags. Some people don't want real people, but you're gonna get real with me, and you're gonna get real with Bruce. We don't deal with that fake bullshit. Life is too short to deal with people that are fake.
Yeah.
I can spot that fakeness a mile away. I can spot it a mile away. It's easy to pick up on once you see it a few times. And once you know that you can't deal with that type of behavior from somebody, it's
Yeah.
easy to find somebody. It's much easier to find somebody that is real, because you know that you find out who their heart is, what their character is. A simple conversation, I tell everybody, a simple conversation with someone, I can tell you who somebody is with a 5-minute conversation, because I'm gonna ask a few questions and I'll know right away what where you stand. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna keep it real. I'm not gonna hold anything back, because life's too short for that, man. That's one thing I've learned in life.
And
If you don't speak up, people are gonna take advantage of you, and you don't tell the
yeah.
truth and tell what's on your mind. You're gonna hold it inside, like a lot of people do, and they get married with this fakeness, or this what they hope things will be.
Game.
Right, what they dream things will be, what they hope things will be one day. Nah, I'm here to tell you right now, if it wasn't that before you got married, it's not going to be that after you got married. And that's the problem. People go into it with their eyes, what do they say, half open. You need to open
I
those
say
damn
I say
eyes
the
all the way.
eyes. I'm always say the eyes wide shut. That's what
Wide
I say.
shut. There you go. They
Yeah,
need to
wide
open the
shut.
damn things all the way open.
Let me say this in closing. And a
Yep.
lot of men will not, because to me, this is my belief level, and this is how I feel. A man knows within 1 year of dating you or being with you as a woman if he wants to marry you or not.
Oh,
It
no
don't
doubt.
take it
Completely
don't now
agree.
see, check it out. It only takes him one year in his heart and sometimes within his mind and spirit to know if he really wants to make you his wife. However, it may take him longer than that because of the finances.
Yep.
He and some other stuff like that. He wants to get his career, or it depends on
Maybe
where
maybe
he's
maybe
at.
maybe he's trying to save for a ring or something like that.
Yeah,
Who
where
knows?
he's at in life, and it's like, okay, if you got to do, like I say, if you have to do the same thing Butler had to have done to him, and that is, ladies, if you can't put a ring on this finger by the end of the year, I'm gonna be introducing you to our new boyfriend. If that's the kind of pressure, you gotta put on,
Oh
man. Then go ahead, see what he's gonna do, see what he's
that's
gonna
too
say.
funny.
Just don't complain if he don't try to rush him as in force him to. But there are some men who move better under pressure. It's like, you know what, I can
Yeah,
say
but
to their
you shouldn't start a marriage. I know another young couple like that. Uh, that a lot of pressure was given, ultimatum was given by one to the other,
hey,
and they got married or whatever. So I mean, who knows? I wish them best
they
of
still
luck.
married, ain't they?
I don't speak to them anymore, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, different one. We're talking about a different one
Okay,
probably,
different one. Okay.
but because of some other drama. But
Okay.
I wish them best of luck, and maybe they're for each other. But I don't think you should start a serious relationship, meaning an AKA a marriage, with some ultimatum like you need to do this or that, or this is gonna
Well, I
happen.
mean, it's pressure, as in there's been with that other couple, it's our homeboy. So with them, it was different because they were just getting through college and stuff. But
Yeah,
there are some
that's a
men,
different situation. Yeah.
yeah, there are some men who kind of like Sam said, they faked who they were. They had all this swag, all this game, and then sometimes ladies, you fall for the game, but that's not really who he is, and you want to marry this fake hardcore wannabe gangster thug in harmony, but that's not really who he is. But he done faked it and fooled you, and you still want to marry him. Whether he done smashed that and got you emotionally in handcuffed or what, but that's not who he truly, honestly, really is. And sometimes, ladies, you have to just
Maybe
it's
not.
hard as hell to do, but sometimes you have to let go and walk away because he's not going to realize who or what he's lost until you let go and walk away. It's like having just tell him, you know what, you're not married yet. Don't really break up with him with his hatred left behind. Say, you know what, honey, I think we should just go on a temporary separation and step away.
Right.
Now, once you've been away for a period of time, he sees you out there, he either gonna put up, he gonna shut up. Because he
Well, I
realized he
think
don't lost.
sometimes that's one of the hardest things to do for people.
Oh yeah.
One time it was for myself to walk away and to know when to walk away.
Know when
That's
to fold
extremely
them.
hard. But on that note, I know we got to close out due to time. But
Yeah.
hey, we want to thank you guys for joining us and tuning in today. Chaos
yeah.
Conversation on 72.9 The Voice.
Voice we hear.
Keep getting vaccinated so we can get back to normal society as quickly as possible. But be safe out there. A lot of people are, they're seeing places starting to open back up, and it's getting a little crazy out here, and numbers are starting to go back up in a few places.
Yeah.
because people are not being responsible. Because you can still just because you just like getting the flu, you can get a vaccine, the flu vaccine, and still get the flu.
Oh yeah.
You can get the vaccine and still get COVID and get somebody else sick that's not vaccinated and they die. So we still got to be careful out here. And kids can't get a vaccine yet, so they're back in school. A lot of them are passing it back and forth, and passing it to other people. So just be safe out here,
And stick
especially
to
if
the
you're
basic
around kids.
fundamentals of 6 feet away, mask, hand sanitizer, and washing hands, baby. Just stick to the basic fundamentals.
There you go. Hey, check us out on Facebook, Chaos Conversation. Check us out on Twitter, Chaos Convo 01. And until next time, hey, be safe out there, guys.
We'll see y'all.
There you go.
Peace.
Peace.